Welcome to the Mavens Do It Better podcast. And now, your host, Heather Newman.
Hello everyone, we are in another episode of Mavens Do It Better, and I'm super excited today to have on a lovely fella named Logan Avant, who is the founder and CEO of COBO Bottle and also WildSwell. I'm going to make sure I say that right. And we met a while ago in Oceanside, California, one of my favorite places where my mom and dad have been going for years, and we met at one of the Thursday markets when you had a booth there. So Logan, why don't you say hi to everybody?
Hey there, everybody. Happy to be here. Yeah, happy to be having a conversation with you. And like I was saying before we hopped on here, it was one of those experiences. Meeting Heather was it was profound and full of joy, to be quite frank. We were, I think, chatting and hugging and taking pictures together in the first minute or two that we met somehow. But, and I think value is had there in every conversation we've had since. So
yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, awesome. Well, and the bottles are so cool, and I bought one, which was great. So this market, Logan had a booth and with their products and stuff, and so I got to learn a little bit more about where that started and came from. And in the meantime, since we met a while ago, you have this wonderful new foundation as well that has come about. So you've got all kinds of cool things going on. So tell everybody a little bit about COBO and how that came about.
Sure. Yeah, it actually started with WildSwell.
Okay. I didn't know that. Okay.
About 2 years ago, and I had this idea while I was living in New York, and then shortly thereafter, I was in Greenwich, Connecticut area for about a year and a half, and I was working in Fortune 500 ops finance. I was the controller for all of the manufacturing facilities for Danone, the Danone Group in North America. And so I had been in manufacturing of food for about 10 years with that company.
Wow.
And I was sort of done. We were talking, what a great company, especially now. They're the largest B Corp in the world. And they're actually now one of my clients, too, after the acquisition of a company called White Wave, which makes all the silk products, and
sure,
called dairy alternatives that you see out there on the shelf. So anyway, I left the company and took a sabbatical for about a year, bought a house in Oceanside, California a couple of years ago. And I had this idea that I would start a company that produced products that gave back to the world and to the people. And its mission was really to improve the quality of all things that it touched through its value stream, from sourcing of raw materials, where it was produced, the culture of the companies that are producing it with us, and the organizations and the people that are impacted by the products, and then obviously those customers that hold the product in their hand. And so with that in mind, we developed, went down the road of, what kind of product and what kind of ethos and culture do we want to shoot for? And we spent a year working on that, just that alone.
Right. Wow.
And took us down to really formal directions, which was purpose and a beautiful product. And so it was clear to me at that point we needed to create two organizations and two teams that focus their expertise in each direction. And then we created an in-between to bridge those two organizations called the Live, Give, Heal program. And so that's actually what you see on our products is Live, Give, Heal, representing our sort of mantra, if you will, to live life to the fullest, give back to those in need, and heal the earth's challenges. And so that program bridges the two companies and executes the projects, fundraising and supporting through board involvement and so on with our other nonprofit partner organizations that we support, like an inner city boarding school that's tuition free in Chicago called the Ryan Banks Academy, to an organization called Backyard Sports Cares in Westchester County, New York, that focuses on after school programs for underprivileged or underserved, I should say, elementary and middle school students that the majority fall into the autism spectrum. Mm-hmm. We also do a significant amount of work locally there in Oceanside, really around environmental awareness and some schoolhouse programs that bring awareness to the environment and our impact every day as humans, trying to think big about how to be smaller about our impact on the earth every day and our choices that we make. So, behind all that, it was a lot of time spent with some really brilliant, in my opinion, brilliant people, much more brilliant than I, putting these ideas together and willing to join me in this vision. And heck, here we are. We've got a product. It's making money.
Yay.
And it's some really, really rad projects. And, when we met, I think we might have launched our product 2 months prior to that.
Is that right? Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
And here we are. My goodness. Yeah, I mean, the products are gorgeous, and it's COBOBottle.org for those if you want to, while you're listening, check it out. Yeah, they're just gorgeous, and they're easy to use and wonderful, and so that that's so great. Yeah, so I love mine, and I know you've come out with so many sort of different designs now too, which is super cool. Colors and all that kind of fun stuff. Just a little bit more.
Just from a design innovation perspective, but we're also about to. So even in the beginning, when we launched the product itself, we knew we didn't want to be a bottle company,
right? Which
is a weird thing to say because it's COBO Bottle and it is a bottle company, but really the end game for us is so much bigger. It's building a collaborative network of customers, merchants and service providers for coffee, tea, smoothies, etc. Building relationships with them and our suppliers and the customers. So what I mean is we're about to enter into the tech and device and app industry that comes with the bottle.
Awesome.
And so this was always the end game. So what you see now is just a small stepping stone to what's to come. And we've now got investment dollars behind with a group of really incredible investors that want to scale the business with us. But it's more of a long-term growth.
Right.
And not blow this thing up for sale. It's more about building a real community among service providers in the Starbucks of the world, if you will, in the small coffee shops of the world, coffee, tea, smoothie, and then also, having your COBO Bottle app that you can open up and see how many credits that you've racked up using your bottle at each service provider and coffee shop, if you will, and then you can drag and drop to donate those credits, which is actually money, into projects that you're passionate about.
Wow.
Yeah, this is the future, in my opinion.
I love it. No, I completely agree with you. I love that. I love that micro exchange, the micro, when blockchain and the digital currencies have come out, right? It was like, everybody was like, ooh, what's that? That's scary. And that's weird gamer stuff, But I love that we're in a place where we're thinking about that stuff, where we could give a donation, easily from an app. And I love it that you're having it to where, so I bring my COBO bottle somewhere, and because I use it, because I'm not using the paper and plastic of the place, but I'm using my sustainable bottle, I get credit for doing that. Oh, that is awesome. I love it.
Yeah, it would be with partnered merchants that,
Sure.
Imagine we don't have the solution developed yet, and that's what we're working on now. And, I'm not afraid to share undeveloped technology and ideas about this because, in my opinion, it shouldn't be a secret.
Right.
It should be what everyone is doing to make an impact.
Mm-hmm.
And, if some other bottle company beats us to it, so be it. But I doubt that they're going to take it down the road where it's not for them to make $1 billion. It's
Right.
for them to give $1 billion and to make 1 billion impacts.
Right.
It's us. We're doing it for the right reasons.
Yeah.
And it's a very beautiful thing, and it's not so far-fetched, I think, in the immediate future.
That's amazing. Will you talk about the partnership that you have with Plastic Oceans Foundation and what they're doing? I know they're an amazing organization too. Will you talk about that a little bit?
They are, yeah. So Plastic Ocean has published a documentary a couple of years, year and a half maybe ago now. Gosh, how time flies. And so we had made some donations to them back when, just after production of, release of their beautiful documentary on Plastic Ocean. Since then, and since our involvement with them, we've been working on a few things, which I don't know if you know, they're headquartered out of Malibu.
Yeah.
And Malibu took a pretty hard hit. Julie is out there, and her house actually burned during the fires.
Oh, gosh.
Fortunate, but I know, right? Gosh. And, so, things have kind of slowed down as they've focused efforts towards some other ventures outside of production of a new documentary. And so they've gone down this really cool route of developing a program for schools that is an entrepreneurship program that you can bring into a school. They're focusing on the state of New York and offer the students this program. And through that program, they'll sell sustainable things like bottles, let's say, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it shows them how to build a business around sustainable products and offers them the sort of an end-to-end map of how to do that and how cool that is to be able to access students at a young age and show them that, if you're dreaming big, dream big in a sustainable way on your future within, your future occupation, or maybe even the direction you want to go in the collegiate aspects of your furthering your education.
I love that.
So they're working on a program like that program that we're supporting them on, but not quite as involved in the last few months as we were before.
Sure. No, that makes sense. And so, we've been talking about, I run 2 businesses, you run 2 businesses. How do you find the life balance there, my friend?
Oh man, it's 3 businesses now.
Well,
so
right.
Yes. So my clients, I only take on clients that are benefit or B Corp or currently and actively engaged in changing the game.
Yeah.
And what I actually found out is that I was kind of good at consulting businesses on how to operate a little differently. And so Danone hired me recently as a consultant to help them through a big integration as they acquired this plant-based food company. They're White Wave. And so I do projects like that. I also work on projects in other areas and industries. But then you have COBO Bottle and WildSwell. So how the heck I don't rigor around my schedule and respect for myself, if I may be frank.
Yeah, sure.
Gotta make time for myself. If I don't have that, I'm lost, to be honest. And so every day in the morning, I have a routine that I follow, one of a few that puts a smile on my face and reinforces the fact that I can do it, whatever that is.
Right. Yeah.
And probably much like you, I have my day's schedule from about 7 in the morning to 9 at night, scheduled out in blocks of 30 minutes.
Yep. Pretty much.
Literally.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes greater than an hour is it becomes, I think, that hour and 15 or hour and 20 minute mark. Things aren't quite as productive as they were in the first hour. So I try and keep conversations as a rule to about an hour with follow-ups, regardless of later in the day or the next day or what have you.
Yeah.
But really about that rigor of time management and that morning and the end of the day commitment to myself.
Yeah. No, I think we have to, you know, it's just like, and I do believe in the morning ritual, you know. I think I have a few as well, but I think that there's like a few certain elements that are the same, but I feel like that is a grounding element for me that I have to, you know, click into, or else I just don't make it, you know, and help, you know. I mean, you and I both have teams of people that we work with on the different businesses and stuff. I don't know, life is busy for everybody, you know, and there's a lot of noise in the world. So, yeah.
It keeps us level. I think, you know, I either get in an early morning surf session, yoga session, or I'll honestly just open the sliding door in my room and meditate, listening to the birds for 30 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that really sets my path for the day.
That's awesome. I was wondering, where are you? Are you from New York then? Where were you born?
Oh no, you know, I am sitting in my aunt's office right now.
Okay.
You know, something funny is she's got a picture on the wall of me naked in a bathtub. Whenever I
Of course she does. All good aunts have that picture.
I should be staying here, but no, honestly. I'm sitting in one of the houses that's been in my life for my entire life, which is almost 40 years now. So I'm about as close to home as I could be. But I grew up in Texas in a little town called Port Arthur. It's on the border of Louisiana and Texas.
Yeah.
If you follow that border all the way down till you hit the Gulf of Mexico, that's where I grew up.
Oh, okay. Gosh, that's cool. Yeah, I didn't realize that. Yeah, I spent a lot of time in New Orleans. I love that city. So I'm back there quite a bit. And it's such a good city, right? It's just such an eclectic mix of so many wonderful, amazing things. So yeah, I try and get down there a lot. Are you a music person? I know you're an outdoorsy kind of guy. Are you a music head too?
Music. You know, I'm really into the music. I don't somehow have the mind to keep up with like artists or names of songs and so on. I don't even know. Like, I'll watch a movie and not know the name of it 10 minutes later. I'm one of those people. I don't follow sports or anything like that. But music is a huge part of my life, actually. I listen to a lot of jazz music. I'll listen to, you know, something typically as soothing and chill with a positive angle on it. Reggae is on the top for me.
Yeah.
But Gabor Szabo is an artist from the 60s that is just incredible.
Yeah, that's awesome. Oh my goodness. So as far as both organizations, how many folks work with you?
So total of, I think we've got 14 positions, 2 of them open. So right now we've got 12 folks spread out all over the U.S.
Wow. That's amazing.
Most of them are in the San Diego County area.
Sure.
Got some in one in Monterey, you know, one in Orange County, 4 or 5 in San Diego County,
cool.
Couple East Coast still.
Yeah. Gotta have some people maybe out on the East Coast. That's a good thing. I can't get enough.
For the mixed portfolio of talent and culture.
Yeah.
So much value brought from having a team of mixed cultures and upbringings and backgrounds and ethnicity. I think our team is 80+% female. And I think the majority of the team was born and raised in the Northeast, New York or the Long Island area.
Okay. That's awesome. That's right on.
Yeah.
And, you know... Oh, go ahead.
All of them coastal, surprisingly.
Oh, what?
All of them raised somewhere near the coast, surprisingly. I just realized that as we talked through it.
Oh, yeah. There is something, an affinity of people who are raised on the coast, I think, you know, for sure. I mean, I was born in the Midwest, but I, like, raced to the coast at some point, so I haven't looked back. Yeah. And I know, so with WildSwell, you know, you fund different philanthropic projects. Is there something going on that you can share? I know you shared a little bit about some of the education. Is there anything else that's coming up that you want people to know about that they can get involved in?
We've really started to turn on the gas for a schoolhouse program. It really is what I was discussing earlier that we were working on with a plastic ocean. And we had started with our own version of this that we executed up in Portland, Oregon area, Lake Oswego. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that area, but it's a beautiful area of Oregon where we did a schoolhouse project. Essentially, instead of students doing fundraisers where they sell popcorn covered in sugar or candy, they sell COBO bottles, right?
Okay.
And what they do is, and we don't make any money off of these programs. What we do is we give back all of our profits, which is somewhere around $12 to $14, depending on what the students ask for on how they want the bottle customized and so on. And we just, you know, we go through it. They sell a bunch of bottles, and at the end, we write them a check, and they get to donate that money into the next year's academics or whatever programs that they have going on. And oftentimes they want to, because we offer them an option to support another organization, so they can, you know, hedge into that 12, let's call it dollars, and say, I want half of that to go to an underprivileged school in Chicago. And in fact, that Lake Oswego school did choose to give 50% of the funds raised to Ryan Banks Academy, which was, gosh, such a beautiful thing, because they're supporting students their own age that are underprivileged and sometimes without a home and sometimes in a very at-risk environment. And connecting that was one of the most beautiful things and powerful to show them that these products exist. Companies like COBO Bottle and WildSwell exist, and that they can be part of these organizations and build them even later in life. And so we try to really be integrated in that message that anything's possible and you can actually do good with your efforts every single day. And when you build companies, you can do very, very good. And I don't think that the last couple generations, I'm not suggesting that our prior generations weren't thinking that way. I just don't know that we were as aware of the impact that we have through the production and offering of products and goods.
Yeah, I mean, well, the proof is that, you know, there's giant, gargantuan balls of plastic in our oceans, and you know, the evidence is there to point to that, right? So, not to point any fingers, but like, where the heck did that come from? You know what I mean?
For sure. And you know, there's this statistic that I read today that it takes approximately 1,000 years for Mother Nature to create an inch of topsoil.
Wow.
And yet, pardon the background.
That's right.
And it takes us, you know, we're just dumping stuff into Mother Earth's soils. And yet, at the same time, it's going to take her 1,000 years just to create another inch.
Yeah.
Topsoil that's fresh and new. So there's something that needs to be done, not only in our oceans.
Yeah, absolutely. Who's the pooch?
The pooch is my funny story, but she's a black lab that I haven't seen in years. Was my grandparents' dog that I got for them back in the day, and they've since passed.
Oh.
And now she hangs out here.
That's amazing.
I haven't seen her in years, and I was just so happy to see her. She ran up and gave me a big snuggle hug. She's such a squish muffin.
Yeah, they don't forget.
Sorry about the background. Let me see.
Oh, that's okay. No worries. We're very things happen around here. Sometimes I'm sometimes outside, and depending on where we are, we do this wherever we're working. So
well, she's with us now.
Okay. What's her name?
Christine.
My
grandfather insisted to call her a human name, Christine, which I thought was absolutely adorable.
That's fantastic. Well, hi, Christine.
I was telling him he couldn't do it because he was 80-something years old. And,
yeah, pretty much. At that point, her name's Christine. So there you go.
Yeah.
Well, to close this out, thank you for sharing all of that. It's so cool to have met you, and then we talked a little bit along the way, and then I was like, oh yeah, and thanks for reaching out too. I was like, oh yeah, let's talk, because I know you're doing such cool things, and I love the philosophies of the company, and I just also, listeners, it's just, if you have businesses, and one, you should just get a bottle because they're awesome, but if you have your businesses that are looking to connect with an organization, with 2-3 organizations like this who are doing good, definitely reach out. We'll have Logan's stuff in the show notes of how to get a hold of him and how to find the bottles and learn more about WildSwell and all of that. But I guess if you have piece of advice, something that sparks you, we talk about Mavens being experts and kind of how you got to where you were. Is there something that is like your little, I'm making motions with my fingers that you can't see, is that one little nugget that you want to share with folks?
Yeah, I would say that if there is a spark inside of you that feels right and is driven you to, or driven by something that feels a lot like purpose, to follow that and invest in it. Invest, whether that be your time, your money, wrangle your friends into it, and they'll tell you if it's crazy or not, and you'll find out pretty quickly, I think. If you are crazy, and I'm almost certain that I am, and my friends will validate that.
Yep.
But crazy in a good way, and I think that if you can find purpose in something that you're passionate about, follow that, because that thrives passion. And passion is where real productivity, in my opinion, productivity and output and good things happen with purpose and passion together. And it's hard for me to imagine saying that now, when I was driven by an ambition to create organizations that made money for the last 15 years. And now I'm in a place where I want to create organizations backed by purpose and passion. And gosh, it turns out that they make money too.
How about that? How about them apples? Oh, that's awesome. Thank you for that, Logan. Well, yeah. I appreciate you.
With one last thing, we've got you mentioned other companies and so on. We did activate a really cool program, a corporate program with the bottle company, COBO Bottle. So, if you or anyone out there that's looking to host an event with something customized or a corporate gift or something, we have a pretty cool program around that too that we're pretty excited about, and doing it a little different than those other folks out there, because we give back a lot. So we give back a lot in those projects, and come back to the teams and show those teams what impact that they've made.
Awesome. I love the metrics are good always too, right? So that's awesome. And doing good. So, yay. Well, you're amazing and wonderful. Thank you so much for being on, Logan. I really appreciate it. It's nice to hear your voice too.
Same way.
Yeah.
About you.
Aww.
Let's meet again soon.
Yes.
I hope to see you Oceanside sometime soon.
I know. I'll be happy to do a surf session with you at some point. So that'd be awesome. Yay.
Do it, dog.
Okay. Cool. All right. Well, everybody, that was another episode of Mavens Do It Better. Thank you. Have a great day. The original music on this podcast was created by Jesse Case.